Hey, it's Sid with Table Talk with Sid features. Again, I'm with Dawni Angel, the Practical Mystic, and Reverend Jody, the Erotic Life. Okay, so we are going to talk on this subject. I'm going to tell you a little story. I was actually talking with a really good friend. He is the father to one of the girls who plays soccer with my daughter, and so I've known him for years. He's a realtor and he's been helping me with some things, but we actually had a little discussion, and I love these kind of discussions when you just find out things about people, kind of in passing. And he actually was on the U.S. Olympic ski team for many years, and we were talking about just about how things happen and how things occur. And something that really stuck with me with what he said, I was young, and the day that I emotionally decided that I was not just kind of good, I was the best guy on the slopes. And he says, now, it's irrelevant if I really was the best guy on the slopes. But he said, I decided I was the best guy on the slopes. And he said it was the craziest thing because immediately, the relationships that he had with other people changed, because he said it kind of like seeps from you. It's not an arrogance, it's a confidence. And because he believed he was the best skier, all of a sudden, even his skiing team with him even started treating him like he was the best skier on the slopes. And he said as soon as he started seeing that people saw that in him, what did he become? The best skier on the slopes. And I think that's a powerful, powerful thing, that the way that we interact with ourselves, the way that we truly believe whatever it is we believe about ourselves, good, bad, or otherwise, is what seeps from us. And what seeps from us is what causes others to behave or treat or see us in a certain light, because we are driving the car. So say something to that, Dawni.
So this is actually very closely related to the Hermetic principle of correspondence. And by Hermetic principle, there's they kind of put it into 7 laws, universal laws. And the law of correspondence says, as within, so without. So what's going on the inside is, like you said, I love that seeping out of us, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what people are responding to. Now, the interesting thing here, there's a couple things I want to say. Number one, I want to say it can't be faked.
That is correct. It has to be felt.
It has to be really, truly believed by the person feeling it. Mm-hmm. We all know these people that they act confidence, but to me, arrogance is confidence without anything real underneath it.
Absolutely, yes.
So it's almost a compensatory way of acting. They have to act better than other people because at the core of it is insecurity, right?
Correct.
Like if you think about narcissism, the core of narcissism is a deep, deep-seated insecurity and extremely fragile ego.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Whereas what you're speaking to, which is, I have a word for it, I call it profound confidence. Mm-hmm. So with profound confidence, it's on every level, including knowing that if you do fail, you're going to be fine.
Right. Peace about that.
Exactly. Because profound confidence is actually about the thing you're doing not being your entire identity.
Right.
So there's lots of space there. There's lots of room for, I'm going to give this everything, and I know I'm really good at this, and that's all I can control. All I can do is bring my very best, present, authentic self to this thing I'm doing. This is who I'm being. And that's all I have control over. Mm-hmm. So there is definitely a peace and a solid feeling behind this profound confidence. So that's the one thing I want to say, is it can't be faked.
And it is very much an attraction, you know.
Oh, it's magnetic.
Yes, people just start swarming you, and it is so brilliant because it is the people that you are, quote unquote, looking for.
Your people, so your tribe. Seth Godin, who is one of my gurus, says, you don't create your tribe, you show up to lead them. Mm-hmm. They're already there. And when you come from that place of profound confidence, they will find you. You become a magnet. But keep in mind that magnets also repel.
And if you
not
aren't on the
And it's a blessing in disguise, and sometimes not even so in disguise, that there will be people who will be actually repelled by you. And this is something, so I have been, I would say like a naturally confident person. I mean, even in high school, I didn't know I was supposed to be insecure. So no one gave me that memo.
Yeah.
So I was just going around living my life, and
Right.
I didn't feel arrogant. It's not like I thought I was beautiful. I just thought, I'm me. What else can I do? Here I am. Let's play. Right? That's been my general attitude my whole entire life. And so, and it was very encouraged in my home to be just yourself and just show up as that. And that's all we did. And it was just very kind of accepted. But when I realized that my whole entire life, including now, at almost 48 years old, this is still the case for me, I always have a couple of people who deeply dislike me. Like deeply, not just sort of, very few people are neutral about me, right? If you were to say, oh, Dawni, you're going to get one of two things. You're going to get, I love Dawni. She's so blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to get, she bugs me. She triggers me. I don't like what she's about. I think she's full of crap. So, it's been very clarifying to show up in the world as myself and see where that goes. But it's been such a blessing.
Absolutely.
When people take themselves out of my
Space.
realm, out of
for
my
sure.
space.
Yeah, and wouldn't you rather do this it's like a relationship, right? I'd rather know right now that we are not going to get along and wash our hands of one another than
Right.
put in freaking 2, 5, 10 years with a person that doesn't value me and a person I really question the character or whatever. I truly would. I would much rather do us all a favor, wash our hands, and let's just be done, because this is not going to work.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear from Jody what her experience has been with that. Because Jody, to me, you're so confident, and it's from a very deep place. Don't you think, Sid, that it's just totally who she is? And
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because I recently was introduced to a new situation where my thought was, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to absorb the information, and I'm just going to take things in. And someone said to me something about, I really need to see you be more cocky, is what he said.
Was
which
this
was
at the
really
last
funny.
gig or something? I think you were telling me about that they were asking you to be more outward. Something. Go ahead. I'll listen.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I mean, it's a good possibility. But it was funny that he said that, because my thought was just, I'm just trying to be humble. I'm just trying to take things in. I'm the newbie here. I'm trying to learn. And, he noticed that without maybe consciously knowing it, and kind of called me on my shit. Well, the other day, he said to me, he says, you are such an optimist. And I said to him, I'm a Pollyanna, don't fuck with that. And that was so authentic, He looked at me and just got this big grin on his face, like,
right.
There's the girl showing up.
There we go. That's what I was asking for. Yes.
But it's funny because, now in that arena, I do have... And I hate to say cocky, because there's those people that are cocky and you're just like,
it's obnoxious.
It's obnoxious. It makes you sick. But I guess when I show up and I'm that cocky person,
You're
it's
sassy.
more, it's sassy. It's
And also,
but it's authentic.
Yes, I was going to say, as soon as it's organic and authentic, if it is truly the core of a person, of course, people are either going to like it or they're not going to like it.
But back to that law of
it's
correspondence.
true.
So within, so without.
That's
so
correct.
What you're putting out there, if that's really coming from the depth of who you are, then that comes across to most people as enjoyable. People just want to be around someone real.
That's correct.
They crave the realness, because there's such a lack of that on the planet right now.
Yeah, and I would much rather see someone and hear someone that I don't particularly maybe agree with, but then I know what to do with them. I know how to interact with them. I have my opinion about them. When you're dealing with someone who doesn't even know who they are and are quote unquote, I don't even know if half of them even know if they know how to be fake, because they just simply don't know who they are, because you got to know who you are to be fake.
Right.
So they're so lost. So that's extremely difficult when you're dealing with someone that you have no idea where their basis is. So I like someone that's upfront, who's direct, okay, I'm going to bring up this guy. He is a surgeon, and we attempted dating. I don't think that's going to work. But anyway, he's from New York. I will give you what I do appreciate about him, is that I didn't have to go a year or 2 years figuring out this isn't going to work.
Right,
You know?
yes.
Because I could tell he was authentically being him. He's very direct, and I do like a lot of New Yorkers because I like that. He is absolutely direct, and he does not trying, he just is. He tells you exactly what he thinks, how he thinks about it, and that part of that I really liked. It was sort of like a weight off my shoulders, like, oh my gosh, I don't have to try to guess what this guy is thinking. It is a beautiful thing to have when it's organic and when it's authentic.
Well, we talked a little bit about, affecting others earlier. And, one of the things that I brought up was, you really can't have an influence on other people except for to be yourself. And when you stop focusing on, I'm going to take, for example, a story of somebody that was talking about a person, a loved one that was an alcoholic, and they wanted to change this person. You cannot change that person.
That's correct.
When you're authentic to who you are, it has an effect on people around you. So when you focus on just yourself, working on yourself, then all of a sudden people will change, either to come around to you or to go away from you. And then you either foster those people that come around you, or you just, like you said, you just wash your hands of those people that go away. And because it's not serving you and it's not serving them. And so, by just taking care of yourself, by being authentic to yourself, you're going to attract the right thing and repel the right things.
That's correct.
And it gives people permission. This is the way I look at it. With that, that profound confidence of saying, so this thing, like for me personally, there are things that I'm so good at, and so many more things that I'm not good at all. I'm an extreme person, so I have these couple of things that I'm quite brilliant at, and then so many things I can barely even function, okay? And I know to surround myself with people that can do those other things.
That's correct.
So it's not a cockiness that I can do anything. I'm like, I'm good at, these
A, B,
three
C, and
things,
D.
okay? And so I'm going to focus on that, and I'm a big fan of paying people to do the rest of it. That's and it works beautifully for me, right?
Absolutely.
But the thing is, it gives people permission to say, oh, she just admitted she's good at that thing. Now I can own that I'm good at something too. It gives, the feedback I've gotten for many years is, I love being around you because I don't worry about sounding like I'm bragging or sounding conceited, because I know that you'll understand what I'm saying. And I don't have to justify that.
Well, isn't that a brilliant thing also, is that's one of the things, I think, within the world, but we'll talk about our country, is that, and it's turning around, more and more women are now willing to really talk about themselves, feel good about themselves, tell you what they're great at. Because for years, it's been that a woman hasn't been raised like a man. You don't talk about how strong you are or the talent
you be meek.
have. Yeah, you just be quiet, don't cause any waves, and that's arrogance. Don't brag about yourself. But men, boys, have been taught that for centuries. And so it is a wonderful thing, and I don't want to turn this into a male-female thing, but it is a wonderful thing to see women who are also raising little girls to be women who feel good about themselves and can say, hey, I have 3 things or 5 things or whatever. I'm really freaking good at these things.
And someone who has that profound confidence, they don't pretend to be good at things that
They're not.
That they're not good at. I mean, I have so many clients who who contact me and say, I'm looking for someone who, and if it's not one of my gifts and something I've mastered, I send them to other people all the time. If someone was to come to me and say, I need help with my sex life, I'm going to send them to Jody. That's not my forte. It's not. And so, or if someone was to say, I'm looking for help making a whole bunch of money, I have other people to send them to, because that's not what I do. And I feel like there's something really beautiful, especially at a certain point in life, to say, this is my specialty, whether that's in business or your personal life or anywhere. This is what I'm really good at. People will come over and they'll say, oh, Dawni, your house is always clean. And I'm like, yeah, it is, because guess what I don't do? Crafts, projects. And I list all of this stuff that I'm like, and it's great that we all have our thing. And there's a relief in owning that. And in not trying to shame yourself for it, because the second you stop shaming yourself, you stop shaming anyone else either.
Right.
Well, I have to say, and I'm going to say this as it relates to business because this is how you brought it up. But when you tell somebody, this is not what I'm good at, so I'm going to send you elsewhere, it builds a trust in you that creates a better relationship with that person to where they're going to come back to you. And I don't mean that in a way of self-serving. I mean that in a way of being authentic, and you're showing that person, that client, your true self, and so they feel more of a bond towards you because it shows a genuine interest in helping them. Look, I'm not good at this thing, so I'm going to send you to this person that'll take good care of you. And they feel like they are taken care of at that point.
That you have their best interest in mind, not just making money off of them,
Exactly.
right? I mean, there are people that I just feel like I'm not the one for you. And I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten afterwards. Thank you for sending me to so-and-so. I think with profound confidence comes a lack of, you step more into cooperation rather than competition. Even say with the U.S. ski team, of course you're going to be competitive in a way, but it's like you get as excited if your colleague, if your team member wins. You start to want a win for everybody involved.
Right.
And so even though you may be competitive in a healthy way, you step into that cooperation.
Because you don't feel threatened. You're
Exactly.
very collected.
It creates such a different attitude too, which is kind of funny because there's a gentleman, a professional in sexuality world that I was following, and I would post a lot of his stuff or use a lot of his stuff because I really think this guy's got his shit together. But then he started a particular group, and one day I put my own 2 cents into this group, and he attacked me. And it really was an interesting thing to take a look at and go, well, gosh, if you're in the spirit of lack to where you think that I'm a threat to your business, then maybe it's not a good relationship. I mean, it changed how I felt about this person, because I really feel I've got this one community where there's a bunch of people that are in the sexuality work field. I don't feel threatened by any of them.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, good, let's all come together and let's help people. And you know what? You work with this person and I'll work with this person. And there's just a feeling in the group of people coming together, and it's just much more of a community that we're all working together instead of, now I've got hard feelings against this person that I've always thought had profound information. Now it's just like, I can't even absorb it now. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
Because he obviously lacks in his own self-worth and self-esteem.
Which is
confidence.
Which is indicative, of that there's a hole there in where he has come to.
Right.
And it's always behind all of it. I feel like this is such a foundational subject because behind all of it is either somebody's confidence or lack of confidence.
Absolutely.
And you can feel it. I can feel it within 5 minutes of meeting somebody.
And you can feel it when they walk through the door, just by how they stand, how they present, right? How they hold their chin,
absolutely.
how they look at you. It is, a person doesn't need to say a word. It kind of just drips from them, whatever it is.
And you can also tell, when I've done speaking gigs and I'm in front of a room, I can feel the energy immediately of the people leaning towards me and the people leaning away from me. And the people that I'm a little bit too much for.
Yes.
And the people who have been craving that conversation. And again, nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with not being everyone's cup of tea.
Absolutely.
Right?
Nor do we want to be.
Well, nor can we be, even if we want to be. I mean, think about the years. I mean, I remember going through a time where I was, a shapeshifter, right? So I would try to fit in with any group I was around. It doesn't work anyway.
Yeah.
It just really doesn't. You can't please everybody
Right.
all of the time. So it's beautiful when you just show up as your absolute self, owning the things you're good at, not pretending to be good at the things that you aren't. And you just, those people, they start to come to you. They start to find you, whether it's friendships or romantic relationships or clients. All of that, they just start to be drawn into your space or drawn away from your space. And to me, I see it as a truing up process. And it kind of goes throughout your life, and it's a beautiful thing if you can finally fully own that.
Yes, yes. So do you guys have anything else to say before we're done?
No.
Okay.
I think that's it.
I think it's beautiful. So in your day, you may fall down, stand up, brush off, and move on. Talk to you.